Welcome to Mind the Gap. In this episode, Michael explores the challenging experience of working for a boss who micromanages, takes credit for your work, and feels threatened by your talent. Drawing from Stoic philosophy, modern psychology, and insights from leading emotional intelligence experts, he'll guide you through understanding what's really behind this difficult dynamic and offer practical strategies to navigate and even thrive under challenging leadership. If you've ever felt undervalued or overshadowed by an insecure boss, this episode is for you. Here's Michael.
You know the type. They don't delegate, they dictate. They don't collaborate, they control. And when the moment of praise arrives, somehow your name is nowhere to be found. Today on Mind the Gap, we're exploring what it means to work for a boss who micromanages, steals credit, and sees your competence as a personal threat. It's not just poor leadership, it's corrosive to confidence, creativity, and team morale. But this episode isn't just a venting session. We'll draw on Stoic thinking, modern psychology, and emotional intelligence to figure out how to survive and even grow when your boss feels more like a saboteur than a supporter. Let's begin. There's a saying that confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud. In some offices, the volume is deafening. The micromanaging boss, the one who hovers over every decision, rewrites every email, insists on being copied on every thread, and often operates from fear. Not always fear of failure, but fear of being outshone. They've built their authority on control, not trust. So when someone competent enters the room, someone with better ideas, more energy, or natural leadership presence, it threatens the very foundation that they stand on. Cleanthes, one of the early Stoic thinkers, reminded his students that power held without virtue is inherently unstable. It shakes under the weight of its own fear. If your boss is threatened by your ability, you may not be doing anything wrong, you may be doing everything right. And that's the problem for them. Then there's the credit taker, the boss who makes sure every win reflects their light, even if they had little to do with the effort. They might smile while they're doing it. They might even flatter you just before they raise you, but the damage lands the same. It's infuriating, but not new. James Stockdale, who famously embraced Stoic teaching during captivity, warned against attaching our self-worth to external validation. You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality. Here's the brutal fact. You may never get the credit you deserve, at least not from your current boss. But that doesn't mean you're not valuable. It just means your boss is invested in a version of the story where you're less visible, and they're more secure. To navigate this reality, it helps to understand your boss's inner landscape. A leader threatened by competence often carries deep down insecurity, perhaps stemming from their own career path or unmet expectations. Modern philosopher Alain de Botton notes, "Envy is the tax we pay on ambition." Your talent inadvertently exposes your boss's envy, their dissatisfaction with their own achievement. They see your competence as a stark reminder of what they lack. Additionally, psychologist Carol Dweck's insights on mindset reveal that bosses with a fixed mindset see talent as threatening rather than inspirational. They perceive others' success as diminishing their own worth, while those with a growth mindset find inspiration and opportunity in others' excellence. So how do you manage your days under a leader driven by envy and insecurity? Emotional intelligence expert Susan David encourages us to cultivate emotional agility, the ability to manage and adapt to emotional discomfort without being consumed by it. Recognize your emotions, frustration, resentment, anxiety, but don't become them. Step back and label them clearly. I feel undermined, not because I'm inadequate, but because my boss is uncomfortable. Maintaining clarity requires grounding yourself in reality. Keep meticulous records of your work. documenting your contributions clearly. Find trusted colleagues or mentors outside your immediate environment. Don't allow your boss's insecurity to rewrite your personal narrative. As Brené Brown reminds us, owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. Another aspect to consider is the role of power dynamics. Author Robert Greene, in the 48 Laws of Power, cautions against openly challenging insecure authority figures, which often triggers defensive backlash. Instead, he suggests subtlety, patience, and strategic visibility. Quietly ensure your achievements are noted by others, not just your immediate supervisor. Develop allies and build a network within your organization. Create authentic relationships rooted in mutual respect and support. Over time, this strategy creates a protective network, ensuring your worth is recognized beyond the narrow confines of your boss's perception. Leadership coach Simon Sinek advises shifting your focus from immediate recognition to long-term impact. Leadership is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge, is his famous quote. Even without formal recognition, your quiet leadership and consistent integrity will resonate and it will be remembered. It's also crucial to safeguard your mental health and emotional resilience. Engage in regular self-care practices. Cultivate mindfulness and reconnect frequently with your core values and strengths. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man or woman should be, just be one. Apply this wisdom practically. Strive to be the leader you wish you had, even without the formal title. The decision to leave or stay isn't simple. Sometimes your current position is crucial for long-term goals. In that case, learn from Viktor Frankl's profound advice. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we're challenged to change ourselves. Adjust your perspective and find meaning in the challenge itself. However, if the environment becomes damaging beyond your capacity to endure constructively, leaving is not defeat, it's alignment. Philosopher Martha Nussbaum argues that true flourishing involves recognizing when an environment undermines your dignity and potential and having the courage to step away. Here's the final truth. A bad boss can shape you, but they don't get to define you. You may walk away bruised, doubting yourself, questioning your path. But if you process the experience well, you'll gain invaluable wisdom. You'll spot poor leadership sooner, trust your instincts faster, and lead differently when your moment arrives. Because you'll remember how it felt to have your light dimmed, and you'll never want to do that to someone else. If this episode struck a chord, you're not alone. These dynamics are more common than we admit. But as always, the first step is noticing. The second step is not letting it change your core being. Thanks for listening to Mind the Gap. Share this episode with someone navigating a tricky boss. And remember, competence is not a threat, and your light doesn't need permission from someone else to shine. Until next time, stay steady and mind the gap.
You've been listening to Mind the Gap in this episode, Shadowed by Insecurity, navigating a boss who fears your talent. If today's conversation resonated with you or someone you know, please share it and help others find their way through similar challenges. Remember to like, subscribe, and rate the podcast. It truly helps us reach more listeners. Until next time, stay steady, mind the gap, and never dim your own light.